Hey yo, what is going on you guys? It's your boy, Aceox! And I'm back. I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to Space is Terrifying by Crescendix. Our boy Crescendix, once again back on this channel. Yeah, so Space. I find it very fascinating. I find it very incomprehensible. I find it very beautiful, but also kind of scary every now and then. I wouldn't say it's terrifying, I'd just say it's a big unknown, at least for me. And while it can, when I inform myself a little bit every now and then about something of the space variant, the space variety, it can sometimes give me a little bit of, existential dread, but mostly I see it as a positive thing because it's so gigantic. There's so much out there we might never even discover, and it makes me feel like, who cares? If I trip and fall and people laugh at me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the goddamn universe. So it gives me kind of some comfort, realizing that whatever we do, it doesn't really matter, and that puts my mind at ease. Takes off the pressure, and just gives me a lot more freedom. But I know that a lot of people see it the exact opposite way. They think like, damn, none of the stuff we do matters, then why even bother? Well, for me, it's more like all the things we do doesn't matter, so we can fuck up as much as we want. It's freedom. It's freedom, boys. Yeah, so that's my take on space. Also, what I really like to think is that the idea that maybe we are just a tiny cell in a gigantic body, and the gigantic body is space. We'll never understand it. It's like if we told one of our cells in our body that they're a cell in our body, they can understand that. They can't really think on that level. They have some instincts or something like that, with the fucking coded into them. But that's it. You can't explain it to them. They'll never understand. They'll never be able to comprehend it. And I think maybe we are exactly that. We are just a tiny speck in a massive body. Something small of the big whole. That's what I like to think. That's why we make wars. We're trying to fight viruses, damn. We are the immune system. We are the powerhouse of the cell. No, the body. The what? We are amoebas. We are bacterias. We are the virus. Maybe that's it. Damn. Nah, but space. I find it so goddamn cool. I heard that on some planets it's even possible that the winds are so strong that it rains sideways. And instead of raining, water droplets and stuff like that, it rains glass shards, or more like ice shards. So it's like a sideways flying at high speeds ice shards. That sounds terrifying, but also really cool. It sounds really cool. Or a planet like the sun. It's constantly exploding. That's so cool. Gigantic ass explosions happening every goddamn millisecond. That's so cool. I like that. It's so much more interesting than our boring little planet. But then again, if you really look at the ecosystems and everything and how our planet works, it's so fascinating as well, because it feels like it knows what it's doing. And that's kind of weird, because the planet, I mean, it's alive in some sort of the definition of the word, but I don't think it's sentient. I got a message. It wasn't you. Once again, every time I record, someone sends me a message. It's why? You had almost 10 minutes or so when I took a break in between recordings. Like, what the hell? But yeah, I find it so fascinating. It's like the Earth knows what it's doing. I find it really fascinating and very interesting. And I don't really like looking too much into how everything works, because I think it takes away the intrigue, the mystique of these things. I like to interpret things rather than actually look at the factual evidence and stuff like that, and have the magic trick blown, exposed to the world. That's boring. That's boring, man. I like to live in semi-make-believe world of mine. It's more interesting that way. But yeah, Space is Terrifying by Crescendix. I really gotta shut the fuck up. No one cares what I'm saying anyway, so yeah. Unless you do. Well, in that case, too bad, because I'm gonna cut myself short here. Yeah, we got a video to react to, and I'll probably continue yapping on and turn this 32-minute video into a 3-hour-long reaction or something like that. So let's get to it, alright? But before we do, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Crescendix. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him space space never changes. You know, it's a play on the war never changes speech. But instead, I replaced war with space. Tell him that. And also tell him the explanation I just gave you. That was part of the comment, alright? So do that. And obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it. He makes some really good videos and I really, really like it. And I hope you like it too. If not, then you have shit taste. If you don't like his videos, you're fucked up in the brain. But no pressure. No pressure. I'm not judgmental, alright? You're just a less interesting person if you don't find these topics interesting. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. Please, please, don't take everything I say too serious. Alright, I love you, Bob. Let me give you a smooch. Yeah, there we go. You deserved it. You deserved it. Alright, so I scrolled up, I zoomed out. Without further ado, here we go!
On December 24th, 1968, Apollo 8 made its first orbit around the moon. While the astronauts were coming around the backside of the moon, one of the astronauts, Bill Anders, had taken out his Hasselblad camera to get a picture of the lunar landscape. As he pulled his hands up to take the photo, he saw the Earth in a way that, at the time, only those men had ever seen it. As a ball in the darkness of space.
What's with the music?
And he took possibly the most influential photo of all time.
Yeah.
The photo now known as Earthrise. Earthrise can be described as many things. Influential, important, recognizable. But I would describe it as something different. To me, and to many others, this image, this famous, influential image, can only be described as terrifying. The blackness of space around the Earth, the visible meteorite craters in the moon, the simple fact that that tiny ball surrounded by the eternity of the cosmos is all of us, are just some of what makes this image absolutely petrifying to me.
But it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Images like it is a fear that I'm not alone in. This fear of space has often been referred to as astrophobia.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Astrophobia is the fear of space and the celestial bodies that inhabit it. I've covered other fears on this channel, but unlike those other videos, I can confidently say that I have astrophobia. Looking into the void of deep space, or an image of a gas giant several magnitudes larger than Earth surrounded by a pitch-black void, these things are horrifying to me. And I'm clearly not alone. With videos on astrophobia getting millions of views and us knowing more and more about the cosmos every year, this fear of space is something that many people can relate to. But why? Why is space so terrifying to so many people?
I'm surprised. I mean, I always knew that people can be quite scared of the absolute size of the universe, or at least the observable universe we know of as of now, or even, you know, the fact of infinity. It is constantly growing and expanding. I get that that can be quite scary, because it's like we live on planet Earth, and it's just like its own contained ecosystem, and the universe itself is so alien. It's a huge unknown. So I definitely get that, but why are people scared of it? Like, actually scared? Because I think it's beautiful. In space, there aren't really sounds, so it's quiet, it's cold, it's dark. I mean, it sounds really relaxing to me, to be honest. The only thing I'm really kind of spooked by are black holes. Black holes are like weird and really creep me out, because if I for some reason get sucked into a black hole and somehow survive that, I imagine it to be endless nothingness, but I'm still conscious. That's spooky to me. The thought of being aware of myself and my surroundings and realizing there's nothing. There's no light, there's nothing. I'm in the void. I'm in a goddamn void, conscious. That I find scary. But space, it's filled with stars and everything. It's beautiful. I don't see why people are afraid of it, but I mean, phobias are irrational fears of something, so there isn't really a good explanation as to why people are absolutely terrified by something. But yeah, I find it quite interesting, because I seem to be the exact opposite. Instead of being terrified by it, it actually kind of calms me down. Just thinking about the universe, its sheer size, and it also gives me hope. Like, it's so huge. I'm 100% sure there are aliens somewhere. Maybe not the green Martians going, but some life forms, you know? Some alien life forms. There has to be. I mean, it's so huge. But I'm also sure we're never going to discover them, because what I find scary is the perception of time. That shit scares me. That's actually, to me, scary. The fact that we can look at a planet through a telescope, a planet that might not even exist anymore, because we're seeing the past of that planet. You know, the further we look into the distance through the telescopes and stuff like that, the perception of time kind of works differently. And that's what's scary to me. The fact that we might find life forms out there, but we might actually just see the past. There might not even exist anymore. Or there might even be more advanced than what we're seeing. And that's scary to me. The idea how distorted time gets over a huge distance. That's spooky to me, but not space itself. I wouldn't say it's a part of space. It's more like a part of time. Time as a concept and time as a dimension, distance sort of thing. So yeah, I wouldn't say that's a part of space. That's more like a part of life, a part of nature. A part of the rules of existence, yes. So yeah, no, I think space is beautiful. At least the way we know of it right now. If we somehow discover, I don't know, space hell, then maybe I'll change my mind then. But we haven't, so all we have so far are really cool, interesting planets that we'll never even get to in our lifetime. And I find that cool.
Well, let's start off with one of the biggest triggers for astrophobia. At least for mine.
Alright.
Planets. The planets in our Milky Way and beyond are creepy. They have an almost unsettling tinge to them. Seeing images on the surface of Venus or Mars is
That's so cool!
Unsettling. It feels like the uncanny valley. Mars especially resembles Earth when seen from the ground, but you can always tell that this isn't Earth. This isn't home. But for me at least, the scariest part of these planets isn't their surfaces. What I find most uncanny about these planets is seeing them from space. I think it has something to do with the size and the planet's buildup, but what I find more scary is the darkness they exist in. This horrible darkness that makes the true
I mean, look at that! It's so cool! I mean, yeah, I get the darkness part, but I'm pretty sure that's because the way the telescopes and stuff like that work, right? Because it's gotta isolate it or something like that. I mean, can you see stars from other planets? I'm pretty sure you can, right? So this probably just isn't an accurate depiction, right? But look at the blue thing! Look at the blue thing on top of it! That's so cool! That's so cool! And also that it looks like layers you see, like Earth tectonic plates layers. You know, if you cut open the space and examine the different layers from the side. And it looks like that, but it's actually the planet. It looks like it has layers. It's so cool. And the blue thing, what is that? That's so cool. I really like that. This is, I think, for the first time, a phobia I cannot really get behind because I really can't understand why people fear planets. You know, I understand the inherent danger of these planets. Like, for example, Sun. I think it's considered a planet, right? It's a star. But yeah, I mean, as a circular body in space, let's just see it as that. I'm gonna refer to them as planets. I know technically not all of them are planets, alright, okay? I just want to simplify it. I understand the idea of living on the sun. I mean, it's impossible, but just imagine if you're immortal or something like that. Yeah, I get why you would be scared of it, because the inherent danger of just the heat and everything, and the constant explosions and stuff like that. But the planet itself, or rather the, let's say, celestial body, there we go. The celestial body itself, why is that scary? The danger it brings with it, like for example, a gas giant or something like that. Just being on something like that is just dangerous. Dangerous and weird. But the celestial body itself, why is that scary? I don't know. I can't really wrap my head around that. Maybe he can explain it throughout the video in a way I understand. And if not, then it is what it is. But I think the celestial bodies are beautiful. Sure, they bring their own challenges and dangers with them, depending on how far or close they are to a sun-like star, or just the way they're made up of, all that stuff, how gravity works. I don't know, being attacked by goddamn asteroids and meteorites and whatever the shit is spooky, yeah, but the planet itself, I mean, it's beautiful. Just look at it, it's so perfectly round, I like it. And the blue thing, I want to know what the blue thing is. What is the orange thing? You know, the circular orange thing on the lower right of the planet? What is that? Is that a volcano or is it something else? When I see this, I ponder what this might look like from very up close instead of from very far away like this. Yeah. So yeah, I really cannot understand it, but I'm open-minded. I mean, everyone has fears of things others might not understand why. It's kind of normal. I don't know why it is, but it is normal. I mean, I was deathly afraid of spiders for a long time. Now I'm just disgusted by them, but yeah, there was no reason. I mean, it's a tiny spider, especially the spiders here in Germany. They're not dangerous. They're not dangerous at all. They're absolutely harmless. At least the ones that dwell in basements and stuff like that. So there was really no reason for me to be scared of them, but that's why I understand, or I was afraid of heights, even in controlled environments. So I get that. You can be scared of stuff, even if you cannot explain it yourself why, really, you know? So I'm not judging. I just don't understand where this is coming from. But I understand that maybe there isn't a reason that could explain it to me. Yeah, so I'm not judging. I just want to make that clear.
Size of the planet unrecognizable, but you know they're still massive.
Ah, look at this. It is so
almost like a face peering out of a dark closet, ready to jump at you. The two planets I find the scariest are Jupiter and Saturn. The fact that these planets, despite their large size, don't even technically have surfaces is just one of the details that unsettles me about them.
I mean, that's
You could
cool.
simply fall
Look
right
at
through
that!
them, and the fact that both of these planets are made of heavy, toxic gases is truly unsettling to me. As a kid, I used to have nightmares about falling into Jupiter or Saturn. Just knowing that I couldn't breathe in there.
You know what I had nightmares of as a kid? I don't know why, but I had a recurring nightmare of gravity just inverting itself. Or rather, you know, gravity suddenly pulling you into outer space. And I always had this picture of while it happens, how I'm trying to grab onto things like the ground and stuff like that. But the ground, I can't really grab it that well, right? If it's a flat surface, then what the fuck am I supposed to grab onto, right? And that was a recurring nightmare I had, like gravity inverting itself. And instead of pulling us in, it's pushing us away, or rather the space itself suddenly starts pulling us in, and everything, you know, just gets suddenly inverted. That was my fear, but it had nothing to do with space itself. It was more like the fear of gravity, the fear of what I took for granted and the way I understood how it works, like our gravity, suddenly not being the same anymore, like being the exact opposite, literally turning everything upside down, turning everything on its head. That was my recurring nightmare I had as a kid, and also as an adult. It always comes back for some reason, I don't know why, but I find it really a scary thought, because that's to me when space gets scary. Because if I think about this, if everything continues the way it just does, you know, works the way we expect, then there's nothing for me to worry about. I'm not going into space. I'm not. Even if I would get the chance, we cannot really go that far yet. So, I mean, there isn't really anything to worry about, right? Suddenly, I don't know, landing on a gas planet or something like that. Yeah, it's not going to happen in my time. And even if it does, it's probably not going to be me. From that standpoint, there's nothing for me to worry about. But in my nightmare, there is, because in my reoccurring nightmare, I am literally being pulled into space. And that's when space gets scary, because in that case, it actually happens, you know, I'm actually going into space. So yeah, but I can definitely differentiate between that, you know, the fact that as long as gravity doesn't invert itself for some reason, I'm not going into space. Even if I want to, I'm not going into space, so there's nothing for me to worry about. Maybe others, but I don't care about others. Fucking what? You think I'm gonna worry about some dude in 700 years? No, they don't care about me. Why should I care about them? Fuck them. If they go to space, fuck them. God damn it. Goddamn future people. They're so presumptuous. God damn it. I take a quick break. We have 3 minutes into the video and I already almost talked for 30 minutes. I am... Maybe I should just start a podcast or something, because I clearly like to talk and ramble and yap. I'm making my life so much harder than it has to be. This is going to be a long reaction, so I'll take a quick break and I'll be back in a second. Alright, I'm back. I'm back, bitches. Did you miss me? I hope so, because I missed you. Not really, because I knew I'd be coming back, so yeah. But yeah, I hope you missed me. Nah, but yeah, I find space pretty cool. Maybe I find it cool because it's so different than what life on Earth is like. In space, if you shoot yourself up there and exit the atmosphere and enter space, if you move at a certain speed, it's going to stay that way. And that's so cool. I find it really interesting because there's nothing that stops you, unless, of course, you, I don't know, get hit by an asteroid or something like that, or get hit by a planet or anything like that, I don't know, or get pulled in by the gravitational pull of a celestial body or whatever. But if there's nothing, you can just go. But it can also be scary, because if you spin God damn it. I got a fucking message again. I took a break. They are waiting. They are waiting to send me a goddamn message whenever I resume recording. I just know it. I just know it. God damn it. Alright, but that aside, yeah. If you get shot into space and you're turning, that's when it gets scary because you never stop turning. Imagine. That's spooky. That's fucking scary. A scary thought. Because you're constantly turning. I'd be getting sick for all eternity. That's scary. Yeah. But planets are cool. Celestial bodies are cool. They have so many nice, interesting colors. I mean, look at this. It's red, blue, yellow, brown, white, surrounded by the darkness. It looks so cool. And it has cool, like, patterns and stuff. It's like a painting. I like it. I like it. I wish Earth wasn't so boring. We just got white, blue, green, maybe a little bit of brown. That's it. That's it. No exciting, weird color aberrations like this planet, for example. Earth is boring. It's boring. I like the hazardous colors and forms the different planets come in more than Earth. Earth is boring because it's familiar. It's our home planet. It's shit. It's shit.
Even if I could, the pressure and the toxicity of the atmosphere would most definitely kill me. Was something I found terrifying and still do. Planets like Neptune and Uranus are also scary in their own right.
Dude, I mean, look at this. This is so cool. I know, I understand by now he doesn't find it cool. Probably it's just very scary. But I find this cool. It's just a white ball. It's a white perfect circle with a gradient. That's so goddamn otherworldly. I love it. I want to live there. I probably can't, but you know, no one can. But still, I'd live there if I could. I mean, look at this. It's so cool. It's beautiful. It's so unreal, man. And I love it.
Deep blue contrasts heavily with the blackness of space, and Neptune to me is especially scary considering it's the farthest from Earth, making it feel even more alien. You might have seen maps of the solar system
just
in school
blue.
That look
It's
like
cool.
this. These maps are good at showing the sizes, but inaccurate when it comes to distance. We tend to group the gas giants together as if they were some sort of system of their own, close by to each other, similar to the distances between Earth and Mars, but that couldn't be further from the truth. This is an actual 2-scale model of the distances between planets. As you can see, Neptune is nearly double the distance that Uranus is from Saturn. Despite that, we tend to group Uranus and Neptune together as the icy, blue, cold planets. These vast distances aren't the only thing that scare me, however. Another thing that really gets me and freaks me out about these planets is their sheer size. Astromegalophobia is the fear of large objects in space.
That's one hell of a word.
Really freaks me out about these planets. Look at Jupiter, for example. The big red spot you can see in most photos of Jupiter is actually a storm that's been raging on for nearly 350 years.
Damn.
And a storm that is nearly twice the size of Earth. The sheer size of all these planets scares me.
Damn, that's crazy.
They seem almost menacing. Something so inconceivably large that if I was standing in front of it, I would barely see past the base. Just knowing that these celestial
But it's cool, there's so much to explore.
Made up of gases that would kill me if I were to fall in them.
Look at this.
Looking at images like these, or even imagining
It's
myself
gold.
standing out there in space in front of these gas giants, terrifying to think about. Looking at these images almost makes me feel like something is staring back at me. They're intimidating.
Are those real pictures? I hope those are real pictures because they're so cool. They're so cool, goddammit. But some of them just look like renders, so I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not, but I hope so. The size definitely doesn't scare me. I find it more interesting because it leaves so much space to explore. Or at least, you know, your mind can explore, can wander and ponder and yonder. Because in all actuality, we'll probably never be able to explore them, like at all. Like, for example, the gas giants and stuff like that. But still, my mind likes to wander when I see this, and I imagine what things you could find. Maybe not civilizations or stuff like that, or remnants of civilizations of the past or something like that. Something more mundane like mountains, craters, stuff like that. But still, just imagine what you could find. I find it just interesting. It's very thought-provoking, gets my creative juices flowing, you know?
But it isn't only the huge planets that scare me. In fact, I'd argue that tininess is even more scary. And that's what we are.
Really?
Tiny.
Oh yeah,
This is Earth as viewed from Saturn, taken by the Cassini Space Telescope. That's us. That's all of us.
Yeah.
Every memory you've ever
tiny.
had, every human that has ever existed, every feud between countries, all of
That
human
fear
history,
I understand.
everyone you love or have ever heard about anywhere has all been here. It's no wonder then
It's
that people say we should send
insignificant.
politicians to space so they can see the Earth as it is. an extraordinarily tiny ball in the middle of nowhere. Many astronauts, in fact, report their outlook on life changing after seeing Earth as such a small, fragile sphere, especially those on the Apollo missions. One of the Apollo astronauts, Edgar Mitchell, has a quote relating to this that I really like. From out there on the moon, international politics looks so petty. I will never know the feeling of looking at Earth as a tiny ball in space, but looking at these images is the second closest thing to that. It really emphasizes how tiny we are, and a result of just how small we are is also our fragility. Space is hostile. We can be hit by a gamma ray burst, or a rogue asteroid could come in our direction, and we couldn't do anything about it. I think that concept alone contributes greatly to my astrophobia. We are simply at the mercy of...
Well, in that regard, you gotta look at it from a different angle. Space is so huge. We are so tiny. What are the chances that in this huge space, we get hit by a gigantic asteroid? It's small, right? Because space is also very expansive. There's so much dead space in between, from planet to planet and stuff like that. So the chances of giant meteorites or something, or asteroids hitting us, is so inconceivably low. Simply because we're so small. It's like if you take a gun and you're trying to shoot an ant with it from the distance, you know, you're most likely not going to hit it. So you gotta see it from this perspective, and hopefully it helps you lessen the fear that you might have in that regard. That's how I look at it. We're tiny and insignificant, but that has perks. That brings perks with it. If we're a giant planet, for example, with trillions and quadrillion of people on there, chances that someone out there with negative intentions would find us are higher than if we're a tiny insignificant planet somewhere in nowhere that you can easily miss when observing the universe, you know? So that personally it gives me a sense of security. It's kind of similar with me not really reaching people with my reactions, which it sounds like a bad thing, or with my music, but it actually isn't. I can say and do whatever the fuck I want. There are no eyes on me, or barely. I don't want to discredit the very rare occasions some eyes are on me, but for the most part I am unknown to the rest of the internet, so I can say and do whatever I want, and no one is going to stop me because no one even knows I exist. And that's why I see it as a positive thing. And it's also a positive thing in regards to space, in my opinion. We are so small and insignificant that all these threats really aren't that plausible to, you know, become threats for us, like being hit by giant asteroids, or being discovered by murderous, pillaging alien species and stuff like that, because we are nothing. And why would you raid a planet that's nothing? How would you even find it if it's nothing, right? So if you're scared of that thought, just think of it the way I do. Maybe it can help you, you know, release some of the fear and realize that being insignificant has its perks. It has its perks. Everything has positives and negatives to it. So yeah, don't just look at it from a negative perspective. Try to see the positives and negative things, and you'll feel a lot better. I can promise you that, at least. Yeah.
The cosmos. The size of the universe is vast, of course, but it isn't just the solar system and the planets in it that scare me. There are many exoplanets that we've discovered that I'd argue are even scarier. Like the exoplanet Gliese 436b.
I fucking hate these names.
The size of Neptune. Its surface is covered in ice, yet it orbits only 2.5 million miles away from its host star. Now, that might sound like a lot, but for reference, the closest planet to the Sun, Mercury, is nearly 36 million miles from the Sun. Its surface temperature is 882 degrees Fahrenheit, and yet it's still made completely out of ice. It's due to this phenomenon that the ice in Gliese 436b is constantly on fire. Yes, you heard that right. Literal burning ice. The reason the ice doesn't melt is because of the immense gravitational pull from the planet's core, which prevents the water from evaporating away from the ice. And this burning ice isn't even the weirdest part of the exoplanet. Because of its high concentration of hydrogen, we would expect to see significant levels of methane in the atmosphere of Gliese 436b. But paradoxically, we see that the planet has 7,000 times less methane than it should, and has a significant amount of carbon monoxide instead. It's a planet with burning ice and poisonous air. Not scary at all. Another exoplanet...
I I mean, yeah, of course, if you get even closer to that planet as a human, the way we are right now, of course, yeah, you'd stand no chance. But I don't know, if we could get to that planet even, I'd imagine we'd have precautions for that. Otherwise, we'd stay far away from it either way. So, I don't know. Maybe it's the thing that I find space not really scary, and more like unknown-ish scary, because I know that it doesn't affect me. You know, it's like ghosts don't scare me because I know even if they exist, there's no reason for them to interact with me because I'm not going out there looking for them. So I'm not scared of them unless they find me. Then I'll be scared. But until then, I see no reason to worry about something that isn't even the case for me. You know, that does not happen to me yet or at all. I think it's more like, instead of fear of all these planets and space itself, it's more like I have a very deep respect for those things. Not really scared of them, it's more like I wouldn't mess with them. Even if I could, I wouldn't. I respect the fact that they are so different, that they are so hazardous, that they are so huge and unknown to me. I wouldn't mess with them because I respect them that much. More like fear respect, but not really fear like, oh, they're gonna kill me. It's more like I'd be stupid if I'd mess with something that's so much more powerful than anything I can even imagine. So why would I try to get on that planet? I wouldn't. Only idiots would try to get to one of these planets. And it's not me. It's not me. I am an idiot, but still I have respect for it, and that makes me less of an idiot because I'd never do something that stupid. So yeah, I have a respect for space. I respect it. It's gigantic. It's ever expanding. It's empty yet populated at the same time. It has very paradoxical stuff happening in it. Many things we don't know about and probably never find out about. I respect it. I respect it. If the universe would suddenly talk to me, I'd do whatever it told me. That's respect I have for it. It's more like, I'm an ant. If you talk to me, you'll be my god.
And that triggers my astrophobia, but more specifically, my astromegalophobia is the planet J1407b. They really need to get
those names, man.
Names.
Yeah, give them cooler names.
It's the scariest planet in the solar system because of its rings. But Saturn has nothing on J1407b. For reference, this is Saturn, and this is J1407b.
Damn!
This exoplanet is hauntingly scary for me. First of all, the planet itself is nearly 10 times the size of Jupiter, which is scary enough, but the rings are what really get me about this exoplanet. They are 150 million kilometers across one side to the other. For
holy shit!
On how gargantuan that is the distance between the Earth and the Sun. I can only imagine how terrifying floating next to the planet's rings would be. Seeing how far they go out, the fact that something like this is even allowed to exist, the fact that space can make these huge things is terrifying. But what's even more scary is the thought that this can go even further. After all, we can only see our observable universe.
Yeah.
Even then, the farthest exoplanet we've ever observed is 27,000 light years away. The observable universe is about 94 billion light years across. And that's only the part that we can observe. There are probably billions, if not trillions, of other exoplanets that we haven't discovered yet with even more mind-bendingly scary properties. But we'll never know what those properties are. We will never research, find out, or understand trillions of exoplanets simply because of the size of the universe.
It'll stay a huge unknown to us.
In our small scope of exoplanets, we still see terrifying things, like the exoplanet HD 189733b, a planet with wind speeds incomparably faster than the ones on Earth. And a planet that rains literal glass at high speeds.
That's what I was talking about,
It doesn't need to be an exoplanet. Uranus and Neptune rain literal diamonds. The planets in our universe are a big contributor to my astrophobia. From the biggest, to the weirdest, to the most hostile. But when it comes to weird things in our universe,
I just find it so beautiful.
Simply cannot compete with the fear that I feel for black holes.
Yeah, that I definitely understand.
I definitely have this fear. There is no doubt in my mind. The thought of falling into a black hole is something that, at least to me, is one of the most horrifying things I can think of. On top of that, the sheer size that some of these black holes can get to is crazy and plays into my fear of them. This is Ton 618, the largest black hole we have ever observed. This
Jesus.
monster is 66 billion, yes, billion with a B, times larger than our own sun. Remember all that talk at the start of the video about how big the solar system is? Even beyond Neptune, the Oort cloud of asteroids still stretches much farther than the planets. So it's surprising to find out that 11 solar systems can fit side by side inside of Ton 618. I don't care if you don't have astrophobia or megalophobia.
That's it,
but that is still a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
The appearances of black holes especially really gets me.
Yeah, it literally spends space around it.
Being massive enough to consume solar systems if they really
and no light can get through
it.
All
this
combined
makes black holes insanely terrifying and intimidating.
Wow, but this is beautiful, man.
But it isn't.
That's not real though, right?
Black holes are the scariest object in the universe, mostly because they're just so confusing. We know close to nothing about them, not even light, the fastest thing in the universe, can escape their pull. They're so fascinating, yet so horrifying. They have a menacing aura to them, along with how mysterious they are. Another thing that I think contributes to the fear of black holes, and really the fear of gas giants like Jupiter as well, is that there isn't a surface, nothing to stand on, just a void. Something that scares me even more than that is what happens when you fall into a black hole. If you fell into a regular black hole,
what would happen
almost instantly.
I mean,
However,
but
if you fell into a massive black hole, you wouldn't die at first. You would instead fall into eternal darkness for a few hours and then die. But as this happens, due to time dilation, time gets so warped when you're in a black hole, the entire life cycle of the universe goes by while you fall. This happens for several complicated reasons that would be way too long to talk about here, but just that concept. Everyone you love, humanity, nay, reality itself, would be gone in a matter of hours. You would travel to the end of the universe and never come back. Knowing all of this, it baffles me how more people are scared of space.
Well, I mean, there isn't really a reason to get really too much into them because there's not much known about them, right? There's not much we figure out about them. They're just there, they do nothing and just exist. But I find it interesting. I also find the idea of matter and antimatter interesting because it just, to me, it feels like it should be science fiction, you know, like fiction. Emphasis on the fiction part, but also the science part because it's also, you know, I know it's part of reality, but it does not compute in my brain. You know, it feels like it's breaking the laws of nature itself, which obviously is not the case. If they exist, then they're part of the laws of nature. But so inconceivable to me that's why it feels like it's a crime. These things should be a crime against nature, a crime against the universe itself. But yeah, I think many people don't think about black holes because unlike the planets, you know, there's not much really to say about them. They're just black holes. But I find it fascinating, you know, the first actual picture of a black hole we got looks really interesting, and I find the idea that it bends space around it so interesting because, like, what the fuck is that thing? What strength does it have? It can't bend the universe around it. How does it do it? It feels like it shouldn't be part of the universe because it seems stronger and more powerful and insane than the universe itself. It's like the universe isn't the centerpiece, it's the black holes are the centerpieces and everything else is just going around them, you know? I don't know if that made sense, but yeah, in my head it did, so I'll leave it at that.
It's not just the celestial bodies in the universe either. It's the universe itself. The size of it is mind-boggling. And the formations of celestial bodies that can come from it is even more so. Seeing things like galaxies, these gigantic buildups of billions of stars, with the Milky Way alone having 100 billion stars, they are so huge
that's
that
a
it
lot.
takes like between 100 to 300,000 years to get from one side to the other on an average galaxy. But even average-sized galaxies are behemoths in space, containing tens of billions of stars. Clearly, galaxies are huge, and that's what you would think. But of course, like most things being compared to the size of the universe, galaxies are nothing.
Yeah, they're
Look
nothing.
at this image.
Still nothing.
Aside from these two single stars, every speck, smear, and tiny bit of light that you can see in this image is an individual galaxy. Every single piece of
It's
light that you
insane.
see in this
It's
image,
absolutely
from
insane.
the largest to the smallest, is an individual world harboring billions of stars and near trillions of planets.
And what's more fucked up than that is the fact that while this picture was taken, a lot of these galaxies were just in the process of dying, or rather, we saw the past of them dying. They were, by the time we looked at them, already probably way gone. And I find the death of a galaxy, what was it? Death of the solar system? Was it a solar system? Death of a solar system? When the sun dies and turns into a white dwarf and stuff like that, and then cools off, I think, and dies again, and it's just eternal nothingness. That's spooky, that's eerie. It's interesting because I find change scary. And change, I feel like, especially with observation of space, just showcase why I find it scary. It's constantly happening, and it feels like it's happening really quickly. But in all reality, it just happens everywhere constantly. But it feels like it's happening like this, the star is dying, and this, and this, and this, and that, and this, and that. And yeah, change is scary. Time is scary. Space, not to me. But I slowly start to understand why some might find it scary. So let's continue. Maybe I'll even understand it more later down the road. Let's see.
With all types of weird properties and possibly even life. However, they're just so far away from us that we would never know. We would never know if there were life on any of these planets, or what strange properties they have. We can't look at all of these planets. We can't see all of their stars, or be amazed at each individual black hole at their centers. The farthest man-made thing, the farthest signal that we as a species exist, Voyager 1, hasn't even left our solar system yet. And won't do so for between 14 to 28,000 years. NASA has a really cool section of their website dedicated to seeing exactly where Voyager 1 is right now and exactly how fast it's moving. It's a neat little webpage, and it lets you know how truly small we are in the face of even our own solar system. And to think, our solar system only makes up an extremely small fraction of our galaxy. Just knowing that, knowing the true scale of galaxies, and then viewing an image like this one, really puts new emphasis on our place in the universe. But of course, this isn't the limit. Our galaxy exists in what's called the local group, with the Andromeda Galaxy.
That's why I don't really inform myself too much about the way we categorize stuff and the properties and all that factual stuff, because it gets really complicated to the point where at some point it's just words. It's just words. Everything doesn't really have a meaning anymore because it's like endlessly zooming out. You completely forget about everything where you started, you know, where you started zooming out, because it keeps going and going. Everything goes smaller and everything, and you realize that there's no end to it, so it doesn't really matter, honestly. I am fascinated by literally small things, like for example microchips. Have you seen that when they zoom in? It's like it never stops. How is that possible? And you can do that the exact opposite by zooming out of the universe. Well, if you could observe it from the outside somehow. It just gives me a new perspective on life. It's like layers. There's life happening on our layer, but also probably life happening above us, way above us, and way below us. There's a video, it's like a Minecraft-ish video game that shows how the fourth dimension kind of works, or at least with the way we could depict it, and it's so mind-boggling. But the longer you look at it, the more you feel like you're starting to understand how every piece falls into place. You realize, damn, there are way too many layers to life itself, to all of existence. It's like, damn, fucking damn. And here I thought my small penis was insignificant and didn't matter, but now I know that the entire universe is like that. So in a sense, my small penis is the universe. Damn, fucking damn. That's insane. That's insane. Even I know that it is insane, but it's the truth. My small penis and my huge balls are the universe. So don't make fun of it. Don't make fun of it. Don't make fucking fun of it. Or I'll send my penis after you. It's gonna force you into the fourth dimension and stretch you in every conceivable way until you're nothing but a speck of time left in an endless void of nothingness for the rest of eternity. Yep. By the way, my thought is I really don't think that the Big Bang or stuff like that could explain accurately enough how the universe came to be or the entire space itself. I think it never had a beginning and it'll never have an end. I think it's just a perpetually existing thing. There was never a time where it did not exist and there will never be a time where it does not exist. I think it's infinity. It's infinity, dude. You can't start from at a point in infinity and say that's the beginning, because infinity is it's infinite. It's infinite, man. There's no beginning and end to it. It's ever growing. It never stops. So why should it start at some point if it never stops? Think about that, huh? So yeah, I don't think the universe had a beginning. Our solar system and stuff like that, definitely, but the beginning of space itself, no. I don't think it ever existed. It's like Ouroboros, you know, the snake eating its own tail. It's a perfect circle. Never stops. Never starts. Never stops. It's an endless cycle. That's what I think.
And many other dwarf galaxies.
Sextans A. I saw it.
Million light years across. However, compared to other formations, galaxy groups are nothing. Let's look back at the galaxy image. The galaxy image and images like it only make up a small percentage of formations known as galaxy superclusters. They are currently inside of the Virgo.
It gets so crazy.
A gargantuan formation of galaxies that is 110 million light years across.
And even they are nothing compared to the next group.
In this image of the Virgo supercluster is an individual galaxy.
Yeah.
If we choose to zoom out further, we would see the Laniakea supercluster. The Virgo supercluster is
just keeps going.
Tiny fraction of what makes up the Laniakea supercluster. Just like entire galaxies in the Virgo supercluster, the Virgo supercluster is a mere smear inside of the gargantuan Laniakea supercluster. But of course, we're still not done. The Laniakea supercluster
it just keeps going on and on.
Another unimportant piece of the titanic puzzle that is the universe. Big thing after big thing turns small when comparing it to the scale of the thing above it. The observable universe itself contains 10 million superclusters just like Laniakea, with hundreds of thousands of galaxies in each one. Now I ask you once again to look at this image. These are all galaxies, vast galaxies, expanses we can never escape, and places we can never reach, and yet are reduced to cosmic jokes when looking at the observable universe. And that's just the observable universe. We don't know the size of the actual universe, but for all we know, it could be infinite. This fear of just how large the universe is falls more into astromegalophobia than it does astrophobia. But astrophobia still plays a large role in my fear of the expansiveness of the universe.
I think that explains why I'm not afraid of space itself. Because just like you saw, even if you just look at the map, the picture we saw of all the individual solar systems in that cluster, you cannot even see Earth on that. And that's like, that's, you know, that's not that many steps zoomed out. So yeah, it's like, at some point, I'm like, why do we even categorize them as grouped together? At some point, it just does not make any sense anymore. It's like $2 billion. What's the point of even using an amount like that for anything? You know, like it's you cannot really picture what $2 million actually look like. Just simply how much it is, you know? And it's the same with the space thing. At some point, it's just meaningless numbers and names, because there's just no way you could even visualize in your head just how huge the universe is. And that's why it does not scare me, because I realize at that point it's just numbers. It's just numbers and random letters and names that really do not affect me whatsoever, because there's no way I can understand it or really picture it in my third eye, which is my anus. Just in case you were wondering. Yeah, you always wonder, so I always tell you it's my anus. Yeah. Nah, but that's why I'm not spooked by the universe. It's just I've reached a point where I just accepted that I am nothing. I am nothing compared to the universe. And if you're nothing, then there's only the way up. I cannot be less than nothing. That doesn't work. Nothing is nothing, but I can be more than nothing. Think about that. Think about that. So there's only room left up. You know, air up. Room for air up? No. Air above? I don't know. I don't care. But yeah, you cannot be less than nothing, but you can be more than nothing. And that's why just seeing this doesn't scare me. It rather empowers me, because I realize I am already already nothing. I can't be less. So all my struggles may be meaningless on the grand scale of things. But even if I don't struggle, it's still meaningless either way. So by struggling, I can make it a little less meaningless. It's still going to be meaningless, but it's a little bit less meaningless. You know what I mean? That's how I see it. That's how I see it. That's why it empowers me, why it makes me so appreciative of just, being alive. I mean, what are the chances that I exist in just the observable universe from a, size perspective? How low is the chance of me existing right here, right now, right? Yeah, and that's why I'm very thankful for that, and I try to live my life the best I can and enjoy myself and help my friends and family enjoy it as well, because this truly is a gift, a very rare gift, and I am thankful for that. Yeah.
It's huge, sure, but we have no clue what could be hiding inside of it, and because of that, it triggers my astrophobia significantly. And despite the fact that we can only see a small amount of what there is to see, we have found so many weird things in the tiny fraction of the observable universe we can see. Weird exoplanets, black holes, galaxies, and yet, if we are to believe that the universe is much bigger than just the part we can observe, then what could be out there? What could be lurking in the places that we can't see? This thought alone is one that's terrifying and brings a lot of questions. What we know is out there is already scary enough, but not knowing what is truly out there is, to me, even scarier. Which leads us to a question. If we've been able to map so much of the universe and detect stars and astronomical events from billions of light years away, then how come we haven't found anyone else? Why haven't we seen any other life forms? Despite the fact that any intelligent life that could exist
time dilation
has had much more time to prosper than we did. After all, the universe is 13.8 billion years old. And there.
By the way, that's why I find time dilation so spooky, because it's like another layer how we are cut off from the rest of everything. Because even, like I said, even if we find a planet with life on it, they don't exist anymore. Chance of them still existing right now, right while we're looking at them, is so astronomically low that it's more likely that they don't exist anymore. That maybe even the solar system itself does not even exist anymore. That's why time is scary. That's what time is scary. It really cuts us off from everything else, even further than the universe itself already does, with space and distance, but also through time dilation, and that's scary. That is scary. And it brings us back to the point of, well, what's the point? It's meaningless. If we find life on a planet far away from us, does it really matter? Because there's no way we can contact them before they or us stop existing. So what's the point? Why even try at that point? If we can just see them and that's it, see their pasts and nothing else, then why are we going to those extreme lengths for that? It does not seem worth it. It seems pointless. It seems meaningless. It seems like a waste of time. And time is fucking scary. We should just appreciate it and just move on. Some things really don't need explanations or answers because they really don't mean anything. Or at least we cannot make use of them in any meaningful way. So what's the point? What's the point? We'll never truly understand something as insane as the universe itself. So why do we even try? What do we even get from if we could find all the answers to everything on that scale? How about we live in this little bubble we are trapped inside either way by time and distance and size, and just try to find answers to questions that affect us on this planet in this time, about humans or animals, stuff like that, That's, I think, what matters. Everything out there, it doesn't matter. There are so many layers to prevent us from making any use of the things we find, like at all. So who cares? Who cares? And about the fear of the unknown, what else might be out there? I see it like, why would there be something we haven't seen yet? It's like, in the depths of the ocean, people expect there to be megalodon and stuff like that, or sea monsters. And no, they're not. So far we still haven't found stuff like that. We saw weird fish creatures and weird fucking, what was it? Small, weird, prehistoric looking things. But that's about it. There's still fish creatures, water creatures. Nothing too special. No monsters like fucking Hydra or something. So, I see it from that perspective. So it's like, okay, we don't know what else is out there, but why do we think that there is something else out there? I think at some point everything just repeats, because not everything is unique. So I think it's just, if we could see more than the observable universe, we'd realize that it's the same. They're still the same shit. There are planets and exoplanets, gas giants, and whatever. There's solar systems. There are fucking all that stuff, and it's not really different. That's what That's what I think. Because why would there be different things just outside our view? It's like thinking, if I cross this corner of the building, what could there be? I can't see across the corner unless I go there and cross the corner. I can't see. So could there be Cthulhu waiting? And then you go there and you realize, no, there's nothing. There's still the street. There's a sidewalk. There are some people. Maybe some parked cars. Maybe some driving cars. That's it. Still the same thing I've seen everywhere. So yeah, that's how I think. It's like the chances of everything being the same, like we already discovered, is higher than the chance of there being something out there we cannot yet observe that's completely different from what we already found. I think it's if we can view more of the universe we previously couldn't, I think we'd be very disappointed, because it just keeps going. It's just the same thing recycled and over again and reused. Not like actual copies, but like instead of a gas giant, we have a gas giant with raining snow sideways and upside down. And then we look a lot further and we see a planet that's made out of ice and has gas falling upwards. Stuff like that. That's what I think. The likelihood of there being something completely unique that's not within the observable universe of us, the one we can observe so far, is just so much. No. It makes more sense that it's just the same thing, but a different paint of color, a coat of color, or whatever the saying is. That's why I think so. Yeah, my mind doesn't immediately go to what new things could be out there, because I think it's not really new. It's just recycled new, just mixed and thrown together a little differently, but still the same core ideas. So still the same materials used. Yeah.
There are trillions of Earth-like planets within the habitable zones of their stars. So where are all the aliens? This realization and the question
they are probably
the Fermi
there.
Paradox, and we don't have an answer to it. Maybe the universe we live in is so hostile to life that no other life forms formed except for us. Maybe the universe was never meant to harbor any life. Earth is the only place a human can survive unaided as far as we know. We can't breathe in space, nor can we breathe or live on any of the other planets that we find.
Listen to me. I don't mean Chrysanix, I mean everyone else who's watching this. Because at this point, come on, you're obviously here to hear me yap on for no good reason for eternity. 1.5 hours long. God damn it. But I have so much to say, so okay, I'll allow myself to yap on endlessly this time. Listen, and that's why I think it does not really matter. The fact that we try to visualize the size of the universe by creating groups and subgroups and even bigger groups and stuff like that, and it does not really do anything for us, because what it should tell us is that the universe is huge. So the chances of us finding life inside something so huge is extremely low. It's like the whole principle I explained with how high the chances that us, the insignificant tiny thing somewhere in space, gets hit by a giant asteroid or something. It's just so low. It's like trying to shoot an ant from a distance with a pistol. It can feel lucky you could hit it, but it's more likely that you'll miss it every single time. And I think it's the same with discovering life. And maybe that's why we also haven't been discovered by other alive things out there, because there are just way too many planets, way too big of a distance. There's time dilation. Maybe I think even the issue of what's considered alive, what's considered a life form, right? Because I think we even have contradictory things like viruses, for example. They're not considered alive, yet they operate like a life form. So how does that work? If they're not alive, but they act like a life form, isn't it a life form? It does not fulfill all the properties to be considered alive, yet it still does fulfill some. How does it work? Like, there could be something out there we already saw, but didn't realize it's as a life form. That could also be it. And then there are also, all these things they add up to one another, and so the likelihood of us discovering a life form out there gets even more. It's probably the chances of us creating a completely new species is probably way higher than us finding life forms out there, just from a mathematical chance calculation point. So yeah, I think that's why we haven't found any, and I'm pretty sure we never will. So yeah, that's my 2-hour long sentence, and I'm gonna take a quick break because why the fuck am I so passionate about the universe? It's mind-boggling to me. I thought I'm only interested in dicks and vaginas and boobies and anuses and butts and muscles. But no, apparently I am very passionate about the universe. Way more than everything else. I did not expect that from myself, so I am shocked. I'm just as shocked as you are. You're probably not shocked, you're probably bored to death, but it's the same thing, really. Why does it matter? Did you see how big the observable universe is? Why does it matter if it makes sense or not, huh? Or if we share the same thing, if boredom and being shocked is the same or not. Does it matter? No, it does not. I'll take a quick break and I'll see you in a second. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. I just took a quick glance at the clock and I am actually legitimately running out of time, so no more pausing. I'm sorry, but I wanna finish this video, and if I keep pausing, I'll never finish this video in time at least. So yeah, gotta do it. I think I pretty much said everything there is to say about the universe, about my perspective on it. So yeah, let's hear what Crescendex has to say, what else he has to say about the universe, and then yeah, we'll wrap things up. So lock in, AceoX. Let's go.
This is mostly because we are what's known as a subtype 1 civilization.
Oh yeah. The different types of civilizations
is called the Kardashev scale, proposed by Nikolai Kardashev in 1964.
I think we have to be a
ranking civilizations based on how technologically
type 3,
advanced
right?
they are. A type 1 civilization is capable of controlling the entire energy output of their own planet. A type 2 civilization can control the energy output of their entire planetary system. A type 3 civilization can control the energy output of an entire galaxy. And type 4, multiple galaxies. We are currently at around 0.73, if you're wondering. If any type 3 or type 4 civilizations did exist, they would be like gods to us, but we would also most certainly notice them by now. But the reason that we haven't might be due to all of the things I've talked about in this video, from the expanse of space to the hostility of exoplanets.
Or the great filter.
It can be hard for life to exist in such a hostile universe.
Theory.
So it could be the reason why we haven't seen any alien civilizations yet. If so, that's terrifying. The thought that not only is space a scary and mysterious place, but we're the only ones here to experience how scary and mysterious it all is.
Yeah, but the likelihood it can be.
Even worse than if we knew that there were others like us, experiencing the beauty and the horror of the cosmos. But it's even more scary knowing that no civilization can truly develop in a place like this without eventually dying out. Either we are alone in the emptiness of space, or we will never become a spacefaring civilization. Both options don't seem good for us. Despite my personal opinion being equivalent in importance to that of an IGN reviewer, I personally think that aliens do exist. If so, the fact that we don't know about any yet really puts the size of space into perspective.
Yeah,
exactly. The fact that there is so much distance between us and a possible alien civilization truly shows the sheer size of space. Even with technologies that can look billions of years into the past at distant quasars and black holes, we still haven't found any other life. The universe's size holds us hostage and keeps us from finding anyone else. But it hasn't
it's not just the size, distance and time dilation as well.
There's a golden record. It contains information about humanity. Just
I remember that as well.
Or even future humans ever found it. The record contains 116 images, along with audio and video recordings of humans, music, and animals, and greetings in 55 different languages. The record itself is made of copper with a golden cover and some uranium-238, so that smart aliens can analyze the half-life of the uranium and figure out when the message was sent. On the cover are a couple of things. Instructions on how to play the record, along with a pulsar map that shows where Earth is, along with the hydrogen hyperfine transition unit definition, which is just a fancy way of trying to find common ground between distances, along with instructions on how to play the video portion of the record. Along with all of that is a recorded voice message from the then President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. This is what it
Dude,
says.
I see this and I
This
can't
is
even
a present in a
decipher it
small,
myself
distant
what
world.
this
A token of our
disc is trying to
sounds,
tell
our
us.
science, our
Tell
images,
the
our
aliens.
music, our thoughts, and our feelings. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours. We hope someday, having solved the problems we face, to join a community of galactic civilizations.
Nah, we'll never
This
reach that
record
space.
represents our hope and our determination.
We
and our
can't even get
goodwill
along
in a
on
vast
Earth,
and
so
awesome universe. There is something eerie about the message. Just the concept of shooting something out into space with information about us as a species, having no clue where it ends up.
it feels
It's
kind of
like the outer
like
space equivalent of yelling, "Is anyone there?" in a dark forest. It's also a message with an unknown recipient. We have no clue what aliens look like, how they talk.
This could
if they're
be
even
our
based on
doom.
the same molecules that we are. How do you find common ground with a life form far different from your own? Well, we tried our best to find that common ground. But then the scary question arises. What if we are sending the message to no one? What if there's no intelligent life to receive our message, not even in billions of years? Well, if that's the case,
doesn't
the
matter
voyage
either
will
way, right?
travel alone, carrying some of the only evidence that humanity has ever existed into the cosmos, only for nobody to ever find it. The record will exist for billions of years, with absolutely no one to listen to it. Outer space isn't just visually scary and a source of existential fear and dread.
Sounds sad.
It's also an
It sounds
auditory
sad.
wonder as well. I bet most of you have heard the term, "In space, no one can hear you scream."
Yeah.
This claim is telling the truth. Not only are you likely far away from civilization and people, but you quite literally cannot hear someone scream through the vacuum of space. It has no molecules for sound to travel through. Despite this, we still know what space sounds like. How? Well, space might not have any sound waves, but it does have other waves. We can then translate these other waves into sound waves and hear what different things in space sound like. And they are equally as terrifying as the visuals.
Oh yeah, they're the sounds of the planets.
We can hear what the planets of our solar system sound like, along with many other things, and they are chilling, to say the least. When the
that I
Cassini
agree,
space probe
it's very
made a
eerie.
quick visit to Jupiter before it went to Saturn, it stayed just long enough to record a bit of Jupiter's sound, and it got this back from Jupiter.
Yeah, brace yourselves. It's so weird because it sounds like chirping.
An uncanny resemblance to what birds sound like here on Earth.
Yeah,
But something
and
seems
wind.
off about it. Almost like Jupiter's pretending to sound like Earth. Like a monster imitating the cries of a child to lure its victims. It's freaky knowing that no matter how scary the planets of our solar system look to us, they always sound just as scary.
Maybe the
Then,
planets were
there
the
are sounds of
skinwalkers
moons.
all
In
along.
2021, a space probe was doing a mission around Jupiter and made a flyby by Ganymede, a moon of Jupiter, and recorded some audio of the moon. Pitched down to a level where humans can hear it, it sounds like this.
Dude, it sounds like screams.
It's chilling. It sounds almost like a
the
distorted
fuck?
recording, but it isn't. That's just the sound that Ganymede makes. However, the sounds of space go beyond the solar system and even beyond solid astronomical objects. A NASA space telescope named Chandra studied the Perseus galaxy cluster. It detected ripples through space, not much different from ripples in water. Scientists determined that these ripples were produced by a supermassive black hole. Whenever a black hole eats something, it spits some of that thing out. The thing being spit out pushes around nearby gases. Translating these gas ripples
I did not know that.
shows us what a black hole eating something sounds like. And it sounds like this. The original frequency of this black hole audio was low. Very low. To understand how low, let me put it into perspective. The recording of the black hole sound needed to be pitched up by 288 quadrillion times in order to be heard by humans. The sounds of space are both interesting to hear and interesting to gather, and to me, can be just as scary as the visual universe.
I agree on that. It is extremely eerie.
It's a bit of an irrational fear. There really isn't much of a threat present here on Earth, and even the cosmic events that can affect Earth are usually never brought up in discussions of astrophobia, which is why I think media that explores astrophobia is important. because it actually gives you a reason to be scared of the universe, as you're actually partaking in it. The
But
world of
is
video
it really
games in
healthy?
particular can really trigger astrophobia, but even those don't scare me as much as VR space games. Games like No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous are PC games at heart, but both have a VR
Never had the
port.
chance to
I
play
won't
them.
talk much about No
I
Man's
don't
Sky because
have
it's more of a
VR.
caricature of
A
space
VR
trying to be a
headset.
fun game rather than a real simulation of what it would be like to explore the cosmos. Elite Dangerous, however, is the exact opposite of this. Especially in VR, it really provokes a real, accurate simulation of what exploring space would be like. And it is as awe-inspiring as it is terrifying. If you had a spaceship and could access the entire Milky
Interesting.
Way galaxy, where would you go? It seems like an uncomplicated question, but not everyone can answer it. There's simply too much to explore and too much to see. Elite Dangerous gives you this experience. It's a space simulator type game that simulates flying a spaceship around the Milky Way. And by the Milky Way, I mean the entire Milky Way. The
Damn,
map
okay.
is literally the size of a galaxy. It's insane.
Jesus.
I love Elite Dangerous in VR. I
sounds
wish I could
really
say
cool.
I love just Elite Dangerous, but I really think this game is meant to be experienced in VR. On flat screen, it's a game about grinding for materials, getting into fights, and selling things. A true simulator game. But in VR, it's way more than that. It's an awe-inspiring,
Dude, I really gotta get myself a VR headset.
VR and the true terrifyingness of space. Every time I exit warp drive and see a star in front of me, or every time I explore the rings of a planet larger than I can imagine, I feel truly intimidated. If you have astrophobia, then I recommend this game? I don't know. It feels weird recommending a game like this to someone with astrophobia. It seems almost counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But for me at least, the amazement and the wonder of space is enough to justify being jump scared by every star I visit. And it's only helped by it being in VR. Grindy tasks like mining asteroids turn into wondrous and awe-inspiring experiences. Traveling between planets in a system turns from a momentary boring detour to a pleasured
it could probably
experience
help
that shows you the true scale of space
fear
and the fragility of
fear
humans
space
inside
less.
spaceships. Really, if you have a VR headset, I can't recommend Elite Dangerous enough. And if you have astrophobia, then the experience is weirdly more profound. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, we not only find profound objects and unsolved mysteries, but we find ourselves. A reflection of humanity that glistens from each star above.
Yeah.
A reflection of our curiosity and our lust for the unknown. Astrophobia, to me at least, is not just a fear of space and celestial bodies, but the fear of the unknown. In the search for meaning in this universe, we've come across many other things that elude us. And we ask many questions. Why are we alone? Why is there something rather than nothing? Why is the universe built this way and not some other way? And maybe we'll never know the answer to these questions.
Yeah.
Maybe they're meant to be left
Most
unanswered.
likely, yeah.
I said earlier in the video that the fear of space
But
is
it's
irrational,
fun to
but
ponder.
I take that back. I think the fear of space is one of the most rational fears out there. From the visuals to the sounds, the questions, and the concepts of our universe, astrophobia is a representation of what we as humans fear most. The important questions and the unknown. But now more than ever, we are forging a closer relationship with space. With independent companies making spacecrafts and landing on planets and plans to colonize Mars, astrophobia will most likely persist for generations to come. We might be scared of space, but we can't let that fear define our relationship with the universe. We should instead use our fears as a catalyst for exploration, a lens for which we explore the cosmos. And I feel that this image is one that describes our relationship with space well. Taken by the James Webb Space Telescope, it depicts what looks to be a cosmic question mark floating through space. Although it's probably a distant galaxy or something, our relationship with space can be perfectly summed up by it. A never-ending series of questions in an infinite and awesome universe. And I'd like to end this video with a quote from one of my personal heroes, the late Carl Sagan. Somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. It is our choice whether we approach that something incredible with fear or with the boundless curiosity that defines us as a species. The universe is waiting, and the stars are our guide. The final frontier beckons, and it is up to us to answer the call.
Yeah. That's a good quote. Alright. Alright, so this was Space is Terrifying by Crescendex. Very good video. I don't want to imagine how much time he had to put into researching all this stuff. It was insanely well researched, but insane. Definitely the focus is on insane. It had to be a lot of work. I can't imagine it not being a lot of work. Yeah, it was really good. I talked a lot. I wanted to talk even more, but I am seriously running out of time. And quite honestly, I think I keep repeating myself. I don't know why I do that, but I do that sometimes. I think I've said how I perceive the universe well enough in this video already, so that I don't have to repeat all that stuff over and over again. Though I feel like I really want to. Sometimes I feel like I really want to repeat the same point over and over again for no apparent reason. It's an AceoX thing, yeah. But yeah, okay, very good video. Like I said, I really cannot get behind the fear of universes or planets or stuff like that, but I can definitely see some aspects being scary. Like, for example, the sounds of the planets are just eerie as hell, and the thought of being alone in this universe and stuff like that is kind of sad and gives you an empty feeling and stuff like that. And of course also how insignificant we are in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I see it through a more positive lens in all aspects. So yeah, so far in every Crescendex video I've reacted to, I mostly got behind all the topics and ideas, but in this one actually I disagreed simply by, well, not being afraid of space or scared of space, but I find it very interesting to hear how others describe, for example, why they are scared of something, even if it's an irrational fear and they know that there is no reason to fear it. It's still interesting for me to hear them talk about it and explain what they find scary. So yeah, very good video. I enjoyed it. I talked way too much, but that's not Crescendex's fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. But I really like it. I don't know why, but Crescendex's videos just really tickle something inside my brain that makes me wanna actively engage with the topic at hand to extreme lengths. Extreme lengths. Unjustified extreme lengths. But yeah, no, I really like his videos. Very thought-provoking, and I dig it. I really dig it. Yeah. Like I dig my penis out of my sock. Yeah, I'm fried. My brain is fried. My brain is fried. But there was enough space and universe and planets and stuff for a lifetime for me. So yeah, let's end this video here. So before I end this video, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Crescendex. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him space. If space is so big and scary and tough, then why won't it fight me, huh? Why does it pussy out whenever I ready myself to box space? Think about that. Maybe space has been a pussy all along. Tell him that, and obviously subscribe to him. This was really well done, and I feel like all of his videos so far have been really well done, so definitely subscribe to him. This goes doubly for Crescendex, because he makes good stuff, so support the man with every fiber of your being, alright? And before I continue with my outro talk, I promise this, and I'll keep doing it. I'll keep commenting, because I told you, I've always been telling you to comment, but I never did it myself, so I'm rectifying that mistake, that overlook, the thing I overlooked, because I only recently recognized that. Alright, so let's see. I'm gonna write something nice, awesome video. I don't wanna imagine how much work and time it took to research all of this, and then break it down to a more digestible size for a video like this. Big ups, my guy. Keep up the good work. And don't worry, if space starts to act up, I'll fight it. I'll punch it real good and put space into its place. Promise. Alright, comment that. That's a nice, funny quote, right? A funny comment. Hell yeah. Alright, so, and in my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. Maybe another video by Crescendex or by someone else, about something else, for something else. You name it, I'll do it. I'll do you, you do me. I'll do my penis, you'll do your penis. We'll maybe even wash our penises together. That would be cool, right? Yeah. saving some water by washing our penises together and styling our pubes in a really cool way. Like, for example, you know, shaving them in a way so it looks like it's a comic strip. That would be cool, yeah, right? Hell yeah. We could get matching comic layouts, so, you know, the first page is on my pubes and the second is on yours. That would be cool, right? Yeah. And it's gonna tell a story about two dudes that wash penises together. Now tell me I'm not a genius. You can't, cause I am a fucking genius, man. Hell yeah. But try to make it specific by, for example, giving me a video title, because if it's about a topic I'm unfamiliar with, I don't know what's good and what isn't, right? I don't know what to look out for, so definitely help me out in that regard, or I can pick out something myself, like I've been doing mostly on this channel so far. And so far, perfect track record. I'll toot my horn every single time in that regard, cause I am doing a good job, even though I'm just, you know, picking something at random that sounds or looks interesting. Yeah, or I can do both. Just let me know which one you prefer and I'm happy to oblige either way. So this has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. You know what would be very scary? If you explore space and you suddenly hear oh, that would be scary. The Freddy Fazbear up there came out of nowhere. That would be scary. That would be fucking scary. If I could, I'd fuck Freddy Fazbear. I'd even fuck Space Freddy Fazbear. Actually, I'd fuck space itself. If I could fuck space, I'd fuck space. I'd fuck the universe. I'd fuck time itself. So someone figure out a way for me to fuck those things. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for humanity. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'll be humanity's savior by fucking time, space, and the universe itself. Hell yeah. Bye.